Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Sweet House. I have with me today my friends Clea and Joanna of The Home Edit, and they have been inside homes all across the United States and beyond because they also have products that have been in over 30 countries.
I know, it's crazy.
They have TV shows where you can watch them on Netflix and also on Hulu now. And you guys are just you're really showing out. You're showing the world what time it is. So they have been in everybody else's homes, but now they're in the Sweet House today, and we're going to have a conversation about you guys' journey. So the podcast is all about nonlinear career trajectories and just the lifestyle that we all build from these nonlinear career trajectories. And I did not know that you guys had not been friends since you were like 5 years old.
No.
Until, a couple weeks ago when we were talking. And I was like, wait a minute. Like, I feel like you guys' energy is 5-year-old best friend energy. But now.
It is a common misconception.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You guys work so well together and you've been able to manifest so much that I just
we put out a kid's book this year called The Rainbow Cleanup, and it's like a sleepover of like 5-year-old Clea and Joanna as best friends.
Oh.
And so now I feel like it's going to even perpetuate.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
Everyone's going to be like, well, they did grow up together.
Here's the thing, though. We've clocked in enough hours that we could have been friends since we were 5. We've probably spent more hours together than I have with any other single human in my life.
Right. Any of my friends who I have known since I was 5.
You still spent more
not even
time.
a fraction of the amount of time.
No.
Yeah.
So we've clocked it.
Are your childhood friends jealous of this friendship?
That's a good question.
I was about to say, I feel like kind of a lot of people are jealous of our friendship just because it's so like, it's like a unicorn. It's like a diamond in the rough. Like how the fact that it's not just that we've become such good friends. I mean, a lot of people have friends that are such good friends, but the fact that we've been able to grow this business and spend every single second together.
Yeah.
We don't fight. We don't argue. We don't really have differences of opinion on big things.
Small things all
So you're
day
like
long.
a good marriage.
All
We
day long.
have thought about like where to store Ziploc storage, but like everything else I feel like is pretty
Like when it comes down to big decisions, we really are aligned.
So I feel like the fact that our friendship has been this enormous vehicle for our company, our business, our success, I feel like that is, I would be jealous.
Yeah. I mean, we bicker all day, but
Yeah.
we just,
But that's just the way we talk.
yeah.
Do you guys both have sisters or?
I have a sister.
Okay.
A younger
We have
sister.
a brother.
Oh,
Yeah, never had a sister. But I have her.
That's so wild. Well, she's the sister that you always were meant to have, but you didn't find until.
But let me tell you what's crazy. Our moms.
I was just about to say.
Our moms are like the sisters they never had. Well, your mom has a sister.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Another sister.
but they are so similar and so close. It is shocking. Also, our dads are so similar. They
It's,
even
like,
look
weird.
the same.
Yeah.
They
It's
act the
weird.
same. They have the
Are
same.
you sure you guys weren't separated?
We don't
at
know.
birth?
We don't know.
We really don't know. Honestly, it's very weird.
It's
Yeah.
really like eerie. Like there are things where like our moms both went to like boarding school in Switzerland at the same time. And like,
And they both went to Berkeley at the same time. Like it's like weird.
And they didn't know each other?
no.
And
They met
never,
through us.
Okay.
It's like
this
it feels
is wild.
a little
Yeah.
parent trappy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
something is going on. Something's in the water. Also, our dads, like they both like they wear the same exact outfits down to like the phone like belt holster, you know?
Yeah.
And they both are like big, like into just like hobbyists with like musical
Huge
instruments,
amount of
guitar,
hobbies. I don't know
things like
anyone that has as many hobbies as except for Clea's dad.
But like, so we set our dads up on a musical play date where they both brought their guitars and they like recorded songs together and then started like pen paling letters to each other. Our families are very intertwined.
That is wild. So all these years, and you literally are both just living pretty much the same life.
Yes.
But just never knew each other.
Yes.
So how did y'all meet?
Okay, so Joanna just turned to look at me because this is my job.
I don't even open my mouth.
You know what? I've watched y'all multiple times, and I do love even how you guys interact on TV. It's like Joanna will look at you, and then you'll look at her, and but you're dealing with a lot of people, so you kind of have to bounce emotions off of each other.
And it's not that it's a given of like who's going to explain whatever, but this is my job. Like this is my sole job.
I could take a nap because I like this is Clea's job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at this point, it could be like any anyone in our company's job too, because they've heard it 10 million times. But so Joanna and I both moved to Nashville sight unseen for our husband's jobs. And I moved a year after Joanna. I had never, ever, I didn't know a single person there. I didn't know anything. Joanna had moved the same way. She met a friend, Leah, and I also ended up meeting that friend, Leah, separately from Joanna. I go to brunch with Leah.
This is divine intervention from God.
I went to have brunch with Leah and I told her that I just moved from LA and I really wanted to start an organizing company. And she said, well, my really good friend Joanna, come to find out, her only other friend. So we're basically just a trio of only us three. So it's a good thing we met. She was like, my friend Joanna moved from San Francisco and she had an organizing company but wants to start it in Nashville. You guys should meet and talk. And I thought that sounded like the most perfect idea ever. Like, doesn't it sound like the world's like coming together and like fate and everything's aligned?
Yeah.
Well, Joanna did not feel that same way because Leah pitched the same thing to Joanna and Joanna was like, I actually don't want a business partner and I probably don't even want a new friend. So that's going to be a no for me.
Wow.
And so I convinced her to go to lunch. We sat down at lunch and within 1 second we didn't even bother with like, where'd you go to summer camp? It was like, tell me about your strengths and weaknesses. Like what do you have duplicative skills that we just got down to business and it was a 4-hour lunch and we got up as business partners. And that night we came up with the name, The Home Edit. We drew our logo. We got our domain name. Online, I got all of our social handles.
That night?
Oh, yeah, that night.
Oh, wow.
All of our social handles. We started our LLC paperwork. I mean, we just dove in that same day.
So you trusted each other immediately.
Yeah. Not that anyone should do that.
No, like I wouldn't advise this to my
situation.
kids. If my kids were like this, I'd be like, no.
Yeah, we didn't even like Google each other. Again, don't take our advice on this. This is just like what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think most people, I collect people and I love making new friends, but Clea. I think a lot of people, even in their adult life, have a hard time finding other adult friends that they trust and identify with. It's just different. So I don't know that anybody's like, meeting up and starting a business together without some second thought.
And they shouldn't. They shouldn't. This was stupid. But it worked.
Yeah, it wasn't why. Again, I wouldn't advise it.
Yeah, but it did work.
It did work.
I've done a lot of stupid things that have worked.
Yeah.
So, I met my husband in Japan. He is a photographer. He was living in LA, and I was doing PR in New York. And we hired him to shoot our stuff in Tokyo.
I read that story.
Yeah, and I moved back to LA because. But
tell everybody, he's not just a photographer; he is the photographer. You have to brag on your husband.
I know, I do sometimes. And then he gets embarrassed. But yeah, John has been. He's been a photographer since he was like 10, and I'm not kidding. He used to like work for like the newspaper, like the local newspaper, covering like soccer tournaments, whatever. And then in college he started working for MTV. That was like his first big kind of like foray into entertainment. And, now he's on the Eras tour. So.
Isn't that crazy? It's wild.
Crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's what I love about this podcast is that we take people from these wild places and then just keep going because the journey looks like this.
Yeah.
So it's like, he's at MTV and then somehow ends up on the Eras tour.
And like the Met Gala. It's like
But he's done the work. And that's the thing.
He's done the work. He's never not done the work. That's what I mean when I'm like, he was 10 years old with the camera.
Yeah.
He wanted to be a photographer. It was actually funny when he was really little. It was between a photographer or working at a car wash. And so he chose the photographer, which is like probably good for us. And he's just put his head down and worked.
The thing is, there's
forever.
just no shortcuts.
Yeah.
Like that's
no shortcuts, but the world thinks that there are shortcuts because social media has made people believe that there is a shortcut.
There is not.
Yeah.
There just isn't.
I don't know anyone successful that's had a shortcut. Do you?
No, I don't know anybody.
And
nobody who sat on this couch or in this seat has given me a one straight, I went to college and I ended up here.
Right.
Nobody.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that even when people think there's a shortcut, like maybe someone blows up on TikTok or something, you end up probably not even hearing about them like a year later.
Yeah, it's not sustainable. And then also some of the skills that you gather while you're doing something like we were talking about beforehand, like I've been on this podcast journey now for 4 seasons, and I've gotten better and better at asking the right questions, at finding the guest about, you know, all of the nuances that come along with it, just dealing with it. But I didn't have that down on episode 1, season 1.
No,
so
of
it's like
course
you
not.
learn over time.
Process.
Yeah. And any creative in any business, you learn over time.
And there's always like stepping stones that matter. Like when we got our first like show, it was a smaller show, and it was called Master the Mess, and it was, I don't know how you would exactly explain it, but
I mean, it was a mini kind of format show. It was like 12-minute episodes. They're on YouTube now. Like it was done for Hello Sunshine, who owns the Home Edit now. Hello Sunshine is a production company that also had its own channel on DirecTV for a while. So it was content, like original content, original programming that they had.
Yeah.
But that got packaged up and sold to Netflix, you know? So, and I think a lot of people look at our journey because it's, you know, it's 10 years this year. So I think a lot of people look at it and it seems like it's just been like one stepping stone into the next, which isn't not true, but it hasn't all been like success upon success. You know, like you make a ton of
There are
mistakes.
setbacks.
Yeah. And there are things that fail.
and jagged edges all over the place.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so I think it's easy from afar for people to be like, wow,
Yeah.
like look, and it is crazy in 10 years, like what, you know, starting from just a lunch where we didn't even know each other, but still it hasn't been for like, I mean, we haven't stopped working a day in those 10 years, not a minute.
And it hasn't been totally linear either.
No, and it hasn't been easy at all. And you know, a lot of things go wrong, but like that's part of the process.
So Joanna, why didn't you want a business partner initially?
Oh, because why would anyone, in my mind? I'm like,
I'm right here.
no, but okay, here's the thing is I've had my own businesses in the past, and it's not that I'm so good at everything, but I know I can count on myself to show up.
Yeah.
And I know the work that I'll put into something. And it's like, how can you ever know that really about somebody else that you know, don't know? Or even that, you know, a friend, they might show up in one way as a friend, but they might not show up in that way as a business. So it never had dawned on me to ever seek out a business partner because I'm just like, I'll just count on myself.
Yeah.
And then when I met Clea though, I had not a doubt.
Yeah.
I just was like, I just know her energy immediately.
Yeah.
And I'm intuitive with people's energy usually. And I just was like,
I am too. Are you an empath?
Yes, I can be.
Yeah.
Not all the time,
Yeah.
but I can be, and I have to turn it off, which is why I can't watch, like, I won't watch any dramas. I won't watch any sad movies because I like take it on so deeply. So I know that about myself, so I cut myself off.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how you're doing a lot of the work that you're doing because I literally cried watching the Home Makeover show.
It was hard.
I think
really
I cried
hard.
every episode.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
really
Like the
hard.
one lady who lost her husband during COVID.
Oh,
and-
Gail.
Yeah.
Gail.
That story, because I lost my dad in 2016 and now my
I'm so
mom's
sorry.
a widow and I have 4 older siblings. And so just watching her story is just so, I was like, wow. Because my mom still has so much of my dad's stuff. We probably should send the home edit team to her house. But that story definitely got me. I just cried. I'm like, I
that
can't
story
take
got
this.
us too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. It
that
was
was
hard.
the first episode that we filmed for Extreme.
Well, she still had the hospital bag.
I know.
The hospital bag is
Yeah.
what broke all of us apart. And in that moment when I asked if she wanted me to take the hospital bag and she said that she never wanted to see it again, and I took it and put it behind my back, she had an exorcism. Like she had an actual transformational breakthrough in that moment. What you see her break down, but what you don't see is it was maybe 20 minutes of just wailing, like just
Like guttural.
just shaking, shoulder shaking, had to sit on the ground. Like there was so much release for her in that moment. And then she started to say, she goes, this whole time, what's been holding me back was that bag. And I didn't know that it was that bag. And one of the most amazing things about the show is because of this inclusion of the edit zone where we actually go through the items with the families. If we had just built her a new house and sent her on vacation, like the show
would have
used
ended
to
back
do,
up the same
the
way.
bag would have still been there.
Yeah.
Right. They would have had a brand new house, which was beautiful,
Yeah.
but the bag would have come with them.
Right.
Oh,
the
yeah.
literal baggage.
Well, yeah. And then something else you said on, I think you guys, it was on the Netflix show, but you were saying it's just easier to keep the house clean when you have these zones set up. It's easier for you to maneuver from there. Because if not, you're just going to start collecting the stuff all over again
Absolutely.
and stacking it up.
That's
so,
right.
Of course.
yeah, you make it functional
Yeah.
with your zones.
Yeah.
Yes.
But let's stay in the zone.
Okay.
And I want to go back to this coffee date because we're also in a time where everyone wants to meet you for coffee. Everybody,
true.
Everybody wants to go to coffee. They want to go to dinner, to lunch. Pick Your Brain is the new line of the
Yes,
century.
Pick Your Brain. That's
yes,
right.
Pick Your Brain. And so, I mean, what was that like for you guys to get together and not have that sort of energy where somebody just wanted to meet with you kind of on an opportunistic basis and not necessarily serious? Because you guys got down to business.
We got down to business, but I will say, I think, first of all, my entire time like going to Leah, going to brunch with Leah was because I had just moved from LA and didn't know anyone. I didn't even know a soul.
And Clea's, if you haven't understood this about her yet, she's an extreme extrovert.
I am too.
Like, wow.
I could stand on the stoop right here and make friends. Like I've literally invited strangers to my home before. Like, I mean, many times actually.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm an includer. I want everyone to feel like I am their friend and that I am there for, like, literally, if you just moved here, I am the person to know. Because I
Yeah.
will I'll invite you over to dinner to my house. I will go to lunch with you. I was that person before of
Yeah.
like not knowing anyone. So I always want to be like everyone's friend.
But this is beyond just not living in Nashville. This is who she is. In her
It's who I
core.
am in
Yeah.
my core.
You've never
Yeah.
seen someone with more energy.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So to
Yeah.
be honest, so when we were going to lunch, I did not go in there trying to be like, I'm going to win Joanna over as a business partner. I was like, we obviously have similar interests and similar lives. Like she moved from San Francisco. I moved from LA. We have 2 kids that are literally the exact same ages. Our husbands
Are they born on the same day too?
almost, no, but almost exactly. All of our kids were born, we have 2 11-year-olds and 2 14-year-olds.
What?
yeah.
And
They're all
born
I'm
between
gonna go
February
home now
and
because this
April.
is weird.
No, it's crazy. We're in birthday season right now.
Yeah.
We have a few
Right,
left.
February to April
Yep.
are our kids' birthday seasons.
Yeah.
I have a Stella and Sutton. She has a Miles and Marlowe. Like it was just
It's weird.
yeah.
Oh my
We're
gosh.
Jewish. I
Yeah.
mean, like it was just meant to be.
Yeah, we both moved sight unseen.
Yeah.
Never had been here.
This looks like an episode of Love is Blind. Just want you to know.
It feels like that. It also feels like if there was love at first sight. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I had it with my husband, but I definitely had it with Joanna because
Yeah.
like it was like minute 1.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I am not Clea with it being an extrovert. So
Yeah.
I am very much, I love people, but I need a lot of downtime.
We just
Yeah.
connected on like a very
Visceral.
specific, special.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. And it is very much so an anomaly situation because I think, like I said, this is the century of let's meet up for coffee and almost waste your time.
Yeah,
And
right.
so it's hard to want to take those business dealings when you know it's not going to go anywhere. So
Totally.
a lot of people just decline
well, I
immediately.
would have if I
Yeah.
wasn't like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
pushed
I
into
actually
it.
like forced her. So.
Yeah.
Also, that was a decade ago. Pick Your
Yeah.
Brain is a little bit more recent.
Yeah.
You know?
Pick Your Brain is definitely amplified.
And I didn't want to pick her brain.
Yeah.
I was like, I genuinely,
Yeah.
and now that you really know who I am, it's true. I genuinely was like, I'll take a friend if
Yeah.
not anything.
yeah,
you
now that
know?
you know who I am, I was like, nah.
But I think that's the best
Shocked
of
it
it. I think that's the best of it, though, is that you guys both went into it not necessarily wanting something from the other person.
Yeah.
It was just, who are you, and what are you about, and where can we go from here?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
always that person.
Yeah.
Even now, like if someone wants to pick my brain, I mean, sometimes I'll take those. It's not a flat no. And I honestly, I'm like, always take the meeting. You know what I mean? You just never know. And maybe you'll end up with a friend. Or, I don't know. I just always feel like I went to college in New York City. I did not have a linear kind of like, oh, I'm like in a sorority at like a big school. Joanna kind of did actually. But so
Where'd you go in New York?
Parsons School of Design.
Okay.
And so for me, everything in my life has always been about creating a network. It's always been about, you know, the people that you know, not necessarily like you have to forge your own experiences, get your own opportunities. You know, I went to college basically to intern places.
Yeah.
I worked in fashion to intern and to meet kind of my cohort of people that are still some of my best friends in the world.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've been there with each other through a million jobs and a million life experiences. And to me, that was what I was looking for in going to college, you know, not like a party experience.
Well, yeah. And to me, that's what you get when you go to college. And if you want to be successful, you need to go for the network. Yeah. Because the network can connect you and put you in places that you never imagined.
I think it's the biggest thing. I truly think that if any of us think back to our like actual classroom experiences in college, like did we learn like how much practical thing, like how many practical things did we actually learn? That answer is
nothing.
Nothing.
Well, nothing that you're going to remember, but and also
very little.
Yeah, and also times have changed so much that so much of it has transcended into something else.
Yeah,
I mean, we weren't using apps, which we're going to get to, but we weren't using apps when we were in college.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, AI didn't exist.
Yeah. You guys, I'm way older than, I'm not way older than you, but I'm way older than you. And I didn't even have a cell phone until like most of my way through college.
Yeah.
Can you even imagine?
No, I cannot. I would
Literally,
have had to live next door to a payphone.
I had a car phone.
You had one of those big ones?
Yes.
The big car.
And that was like a big deal.
Okay, maybe you are a lot older than I am.
And I had a
Where'd
sorority.
you go to school?
UC Santa Barbara.
Okay.
And I had a sorority landline. And we would change. This is the craziest rule ever. And my dad still thinks about this and we discuss it. Every like quarter, you would change roommates because they wanted you to meet and work with, get to know other people.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's your nightmare.
Yeah. Not only that, you change phone numbers because you have a landline. Each room has their own number. So you have to call the company.
Did your mom have a list that was like cross out, cross out?
No, it was, yes. Yeah. So
that's what my mom would
It
have.
was crazy.
That is crazy.
Every quarter we had to change phone numbers and landline. It was a wild time.
I feel like every quarter is a bit much.
It was insane. Every quarter?
No.
It's crazy, but the world was moving so much slower. So we think it's crazy now hearing that, but the world was actually moving at that pace to handle that.
I guess
you got to think about it. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, but
It
like,
wasn't
we would have
as
to
frenetic.
pack up all of our stuff and move
think
rooms.
about what a mess a college dorm is.
Yeah.
And to have to pack it up every
And
quarter.
everyone's moving. This is a sorority house.
Yeah.
So the whole sorority house is shifting.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Yeah. You know what? Well, I was only in
Yeah.
it for a couple of years. So
Sounds awful.
I'm living in the time that I was supposed to be living in because if I was any sooner, no, it's not for me.
No.
But
No.
I do always ask the guests, would they go to college again? Because it's such a taboo topic now, especially with so many college careers affected with COVID. A lot of kids didn't go back to school or enrollment is just down, period. When I went back to University of Memphis and I was talking to the dean of my scholarship, he said the enrollment was down 50%.
Wow.
And so, yeah.
Well, good. Maybe our kids can actually get in.
But I'm just wondering if you guys could do it all over again, would you go to college? And do you feel like
Absolutely.
do you feel like it puts you exactly where you needed to
Exactly.
be with the home edit and everything?
You know what?
With
You can't
everything.
take anything out of your life because how do you know what actually transpired into what? Like you can't pick and choose which pieces. Because if I didn't go to school there, maybe I wouldn't have lived in LA. And if I didn't live in LA, maybe I would have never moved to San Francisco. I wouldn't have met my husband who then moved us to Nashville. Like there's too many pieces to pick apart.
It all
so I wouldn't
builds.
change anything because I don't know what led to what exactly.
I also feel like my college experience in a lot of ways did actually inform the company that we built. And, you know, one of our trademark things at the Home Edit was not just creating organized spaces, but making them aesthetically beautiful. And that was very much part of my vision in what I could bring to this company because of my
Well, I was a
design
film
background.
major, and so I brought that in too.
Yeah, great, right. Joanna also doesn't watch movies anymore because she's an empath. So her favorite movie is Wreck-It Ralph 2. So, and the other day she watched Garfield on the airplane. So I don't think that was a big part of our business, but no, I mean, I feel like my experience in New York was probably the most important segment of time in terms of transforming who I was as a child to who I am as an adult. And so much of that was in my college experience, not again in the classroom.
Yeah. And the relationships that you meet. I mean, you get to really know yourself through your other friends.
Yeah, you do.
And like, it's such a powerful time.
Yeah. And you just learn how to navigate the unexpected.
Yeah.
I feel like college buys you some time to figure it out. If nothing else, you just get like a few extra years to be a kid in an adult world.
Yeah.
Is kind of how I look at it.
I feel like in New York City, I got thrown into the adult world really fast.
Oh, well, those kids are like 5 years old going on 40.
And it was during 9/11.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I had to grow up extremely fast in New York. But it was just amazing. I would not change 1 minute of it. Maybe like a boyfriend or two. But other than that, I would not change a minute of it.
So I married my college sweetheart, and I would not have known Alex had I not gone to college, had I not joined my sorority and he joined his fraternity, because he ran track. So I never even knew he was on campus because the athletes are never around. So,
I see, going to an art school in New York, you would never know that.
Yeah, the athletes are doing their own thing. They're never around. They're always traveling. And then I was like literally doing everything on campus, like Miss University Memphis, all kinds of, I ran for SGA president. I was doing it all. Yeah. So I knew everybody on campus except for him. And then we both pledged our sorority and fraternity. And I was like, ooh, I want that one.
He is quite handsome. Mr. Sweet, for anyone who has not seen him, is quite handsome.
He is a sweetie. He is just the epitome of his last name. I actually thought he was lying. I was like, on our first meetup, I didn't have these vibes. I was like, wait a minute, stop pulling my leg. You're being funny. But you guys have grown the business from this friendship. And I love that you're sharing even how your husbands were brought into this, and also just how everything was like divinely set up with your families. Yeah, it feels that way.
And do you know that now Joanna and I both built our current homes 600 steps away from each other?
Was that planned?
Yes, of course.
I can't take it.
Yeah, that was planned.
It's 2 blocks, and we have timed it with our Apple Watch.
Yeah,
it was 600 steps. Although I think we were pretty excited.
Yeah, we were walking.
I think we need to test it again, but it's still only 2 blocks.
Yeah, it's very close.
So how does your sister feel that you have a sister?
Oh, she's fine. She loves Clea. She just thinks Clea is everything.
That's a good question that I've never thought about. Like, is Alexis like, get out of here,
No,
Clea?
not at all. Okay. But she's super kind. If the shoe was on the other foot, I would be furious.
Yeah.
But she's a lot nicer than me.
Yeah. I have 2 older sisters. Valerie, my oldest, is a recording artist, and then Kayla's a medical device. But Valerie's in New York, Kayla's in Houston, and then I'm here. And we love each other. We text all the time. It's so hard to see each other because we're all 3 in different cities, but I'm the one who collects people. Both of them are just more introverted, and they're just to themselves. But I wonder if they feel that way about me. Maybe I should ask that question.
Right, you should ask.
Yeah.
But I think introverted people really don't care.
Yeah, I don't think they care either. Do you care?
Nope. And like to the point where it's like when we go to Clea's friends in every city. So anytime we're traveling anywhere, she's like, this person's here. And I'm like,
well, it's usually LA and New York.
No, but like we'll be in random filming and like.
That's true. In Houston or Phoenix. That's true. I do collect people everywhere.
So anyway, and she's like, hey, I'm going to go to dinner. You're of course welcome to come. And it has nothing to do with her friend. I'm sure they're lovely and I'm sure they're fabulous, but I have to be alone.
By the way, this was also, I was having dinner at like 5 p.m. in the hotel lobby restaurant, and Joanna was still like, I can't do it. I'm sorry, I can't do it.
Yeah. So I just need no jealousy.
Yeah.
0.
Yeah. You need a minute.
You have your time with your friends. Like you should enjoy them. I will only be a damper, and like you don't want to be around me right now. I need to be alone.
Yeah.
But how do you deal with that? Do you ever get offended with? Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Joanna and I, here's the thing. We spend so much time together, and now that we literally, our homes are next to each other, it's obscene. To be honest, it's psychotic. So Joanna and I, so we have to understand where each other's coming from. And Joanna and I have some unspoken and spoken rules in our friendship. And one of them is, no matter what, even if someone is like, did something to annoy you, upset you, whatever, like, it's not coming from a bad place. So why waste your time? Like, it's not efficient to get upset. Like, let's just move on. Like, what, are we not going to be friends after this? So like, what's the point in getting
that
annoyed?
happens to so many people. That's why I asked, because we're in this generation also of, I'm setting my boundary and I want nothing to do with you. And I'm just going to close the door on that friendship. And especially if it has business dealings with it, a lot of people are like, don't have time for that, not doing it. And
I also will say, Joanna and I, first of all, we coined a term very early on that says, I feel strongly. If someone uses I feel strongly, the other person has to back down. If someone calls it first, that's it. We use it sparingly.
Yeah. Okay. So like maybe 5 times in 10 years.
Right. Well, I wouldn't say 5.
Barely ever.
Okay. But barely ever, because it's so serious. But it's, even apart from I feel strongly, if I am like I know 95% of the time, Joanna's not going to come to dinner. I'm always going to invite her so that she knows she's included. And if it's important to me for her to come, she will do it. If I say, I really want you there, or I really want you to meet so and so or something, which I use so sparingly.
Totally.
So if I say it, she takes it like there's nothing the other one of us like wouldn't do.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like if
of
I
course.
say I need you there, she's gonna do
100%.
We could be having dinner at 3:00 in the morning, and she would be there.
Yeah.
So
we
the key is just to allow each other to be
Each
and
other.
not try to change.
Yes.
You cannot change,
cannot.
and that is the key.
Yeah.
You have to accept the person for who they are.
Right. Joanna knows that what I am going, like the other night we were in New York and we decided to share a hotel room for the first time in years
Where did you guys stay?
at the Ritz.
Okay. Yeah.
And we have a bunch of New York hotels that we love, but we found this one. It's the Ritz on 28th. So it's really easy to get downtown and uptown.
Yeah.
And so Joanna and I were like, okay, because we're going on vacation together for the first time in 10 years. We have not just the two of us, like we've gone on a million trips.
Just the
with
two of
work
you,
and
no family?
No family,
family.
And no work.
Okay.
just us going on vacation.
So this is a true girls trip.
Yeah,
No
and we
cameras.
always extend any work trip. We always have extended.
But it's
Okay.
still like
Yeah,
a
it's-
work trip
yeah.
that maybe we tack on a day or
Yeah.
something. But like this is the first like we are going on vacation.
Yeah.
And we were like, we should share a room like we used to do. Like that was so much fun. It's like a sleepover. And we normally don't do that anymore because it is for work and we have our own morning routines.
Yeah,
and our
and you
own,
want to unwind.
And I stay up later. Joanna goes to sleep. Or, we have our things. And so we decided that we were going to share a hotel room just to test it out in New York on this last
saw
trip. And so, but I go insane if it's like 6:45 and now we're like in the hotel room for the night.
She cannot
I can't either.
Clea
Especially
hates-
not in New York.
No.
I'm
Clea
like,
hates room service. Like she never wants to have room service. I could have room service at 5 p.m. and be so happy in the room.
Yeah.
Clea cannot do it.
yeah.
No, I cannot do it. It just makes me feel like claustrophobic. Like
Well,
we're
New York does that to me. I mean, I was there in February and I had to stay in Brooklyn. I was like, Manhattan is just a bit much for me.
It is a
I'm
lot,
like,
but it's my home to me in some
yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're probably used to it.
She's
I'm
used
from
to it.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
I need some land
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
some
yeah,
space. Yeah.
No, we were
Yeah.
coming back from dinner and it was too early for her.
Right, because we had dinner at 5 and at our absolute favorite restaurant. And so we, I say it like we are a couple. It's our favorite. It's actually where we go for all of our special moments. So we're headed back to the hotel and in the Uber, I am like antsy. I'm fidgety. Joanna's like, you're not going to be happy if we just like
I
go
was
back
like,
to the
oh
room.
God, you're in a bad. I was like,
I was like, I'm going to be in a bad place. And so she was like, what do you need? I was like, can we go to the rooftop bar and have a drink? And she's like, like Joanna doesn't even drink alcohol. So she's just going to sit there watching me drink something. But then at least we got to the room at 8 and I could like settle in.
yeah. And
Yeah.
she made I wanted to go for a walk.
Yeah.
So she's like, if you go to the rooftop bar, I'll go for a walk with you. And I was like, you will at like 9 o'clock.
And I was prepared.
Aw,
Yeah.
I love
And then-
this compromise.
but then it took a turn.
It took a turn.
Clea
And then-
decided she cannot go for a walk. But then I worked
Because
out.
I had to unpack in your room.
Yeah, it's fine. It was totally fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But then we watched the Golden Girls and
Yeah,
all was good.
everything was
Oh
fine
my
in the world.
goodness.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I just want to give you guys your flowers for that. And we don't talk about adult friendship being part of who we are and our career journeys a lot. So I appreciate that aspect of you guys' business, but also just who you are as people. It's beautiful. So thank you for sharing that. And thank you for giving us some advice on
You're
like,
always welcome to have a drink with me on the rooftop.
Yeah, I will
I might
gladly
be in
come
bed
have
and you can't take it personally.
Joanna can't wait. If I was like, oh, Jasmine's in town, she'd be like, peace out, good night. I will
Let's
see.
go.
Right.
It's
You
Yeah.
guys
never
go.
personal. It's never personal.
Well, I might have you also at the club. I'm like, I feel like when I was young, I have some crazy times in New York. I have friends in New York, and every time I'm there, I feel like I get dragged into something wild. So, and my sister's in New York too. I'm actually going to go next week. She's going to be on CBS this morning for her new
we're gonna
album.
be there next week.
Ooh, what day?
We get it. We fly in Monday.
Ooh, me too. April 1st. Yeah.
March
31st.
31st.
Yeah.
March 31st. But yeah, Valerie's going to be on CBS on April 1st.
so
We're gonna
exciting.
be on the Today.
No, not that day.
the
second.
The second.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, look at y'all.
Yeah.
Is this for the app?
Yeah, we are going to be discussing the app, I
We
believe.
will be discussing
Yeah.
the app, but the Today Show loves to there'll be
incorporate
multiple
different
topics.
people. Yeah. No, I love what they're doing with the Today Show. It has evolved very much so since I was little. I stayed at home with my mom when I was little. I did not go to daycare. This whole daycare thing, even with me as a mom of a 3-year-old, is brand new because I was at home watching the Today Show with Kay. So I always tell people Oprah raised me.
Yeah. That's a good one to raise you.
But Oprah, in my recollection, wasn't Oprah on at 3?
Yeah, she was, but I was at home with my mom all day.
All day. I'm thinking morning shows.
Yeah.
Because Oprah and my grandmother raised me at 3.
So then we go get all my siblings from school, and my mom would pick up each person from different schools, and then we come back home, and then I'd have homework with them. So I feel like I've always been ahead of time. And then Valerie, my older sister, is 8 years older than me. So she and I have always had kindred spirits, and then Kayla's 2 years older than me, and we have always fought. So, love her to death, but we are always like the ones that are like, rah. I think because we're so much alike too.
Yeah.
So
it's hard.
the sisterhood is crazy.
Yeah,
so
it really is.
it is. But that's also why I feel like people should invest in adult friendships, but also new friendships. You do not have to have the same friends as when you're 5 years old.
Absolutely.
You know, it's a constant evolution.
It is.
My husband's grandmother just turned 110.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy.
110?
110. Yeah. 110. And we had a huge birthday party for her in Memphis.
Oh my God. I think that's the oldest person I've ever heard of in my life.
Me too.
Y'all, she's still in her right mind. She's still at home.
God.
And honestly, when I think about
still at
all the
home.
lifetimes that she's, because I'm 35. So I'm like, well, if I make it to 110, I got a lot of friends and a lot of people to come across. And so it's really wild to think about.
That is, my mind is actually blown.
It's
Think about
crazy.
110.
Yeah, she's 110. I have to show you pictures after this.
Oh my gosh. That's
I know.
amazing.
But it's crazy. It really is crazy. And then when we were all there, his dad was like, I feel like this is like a zoo. I'm like, yeah, because everybody's coming to see the 110-year-old.
Yeah,
all the
of
news
course.
stations, everybody.
Right, but
So-
also like how you have to accumulate so many people in your life. Although I'm sure she's outlived everyone.
Yeah, she has. Well, she's got 7 kids, and so she's Alex's great grandmother.
Okay.
And his granddad is the only one that has passed away. The other 6 kids are still alive. And when I say Alex has 900 family members, he does.
Oh, I believe
Yeah,
that.
yeah, half of Memphis and beyond. So yeah, but it's really a beautiful thing to see. But also like how much we should embrace humanity and new friendships, and you know, learning about people who don't have the exact same backgrounds as us and all of that. But we won't even go there today. We'll save that for another podcast. I'm like, you know, we're also in this climate of like, everyone's like, oh, you don't believe what I believe, we're not going to be friends. And, you know, so there's that. But
there are a lot of like layers to friendship now that didn't even exist. Like it was so pure. Don't you feel like, like a while ago, like 15 years ago, you were just like,
well, because there wasn't I mean, you have to think 15 years ago, people were also still looking through encyclopedias, or 20 years ago.
So
now
much. There's
like,
so much information everywhere.
Yeah. And so we're way more educated. We're making wiser, well, some of us are making wiser decisions. Some of us never learned anything in history. Some of us still don't know the branches of the government. Yeah. But, you know, it is what it is. So there's just a lot to contend with now.
There is. There's a lot of information out there to contend with. I mean, let's see, like 15 years ago, I mean, I was like, I used to work at MySpace just to date myself in terms of like my social media background. And I mean, that was back when we were just like posting on a feed, you know, like there was like nothing, like the amount of endless content that is streaming through.
Oh my gosh, every
now.
second.
Every second.
Do you guys love social media? I know it was a huge catalyst for you guys.
It was the catalyst.
It was the catalyst.
Yeah.
And
well, you were in the
is.
golden era.
Yeah.
So yeah, now it doesn't look like that.
No.
It's like
so
in the
different.
audience, it's so frustrating. Yeah. Because a lot of us who started years ago and built these incredible audiences, our audiences don't even see our stuff.
I know. It's actually, it makes me furious. Again, like I've been around social media. I've worked in social, and even at the Home Edit, my like job was social at the Home Edit. You know, since 2007, I guess. And it's just changed so dramatically, and it's so frustrating. You know, like to get an Instagram audience at this point, it's not just about the follower count, it's about the engagement. And it's really, really hard. You have to basically have a post break out immediately for it to actually gain
For people to
traction
see it.
and
Yeah.
do well.
Yeah.
It's tough.
And immediately, like as in the first couple seconds.
Oh, that's what I
Yes.
mean.
Yeah.
You have like
Yes.
under 5
Seconds.
minutes.
Yeah.
And you can tell within seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally. And so, you can get into a wild mental health like situation if you're sitting there waiting in the seconds for something to pop off and it doesn't.
Yeah.
And so for me, I post and then I walk away.
Yeah.
That's smart.
And I come back to
I do
it
too.
and let it surprise me. That's how I deal
great
with
way
it.
to handle it.
I do too.
Yeah, because otherwise it's like I'm like, what is happening out here?
Yeah.
This feels like the Twilight Zone that I just put in so much work to do X, Y, and Z. I mean, even for you guys to launch your TV show or to launch your new products or whatever, or your books, anything that you have, and the world won't know about it because we're being hidden.
Truly. And it because it feels in the moment like the world doesn't care about it.
It's
because,
not that the world doesn't
and
care.
it's just they're not
They
even
just don't
seeing
know.
it.
If they saw it,
They're not even seeing it.
yeah. But
I know,
if they
it's
saw
very
it,
hard.
It is. It's so hard.
And you can't it's very hard not to let your day or your feelings
And
be like driven by,
wow, like
by that.
no one liked this post.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it was a picture of me with my dog. How can someone not love it?
Yeah.
And it's like, they're not even seeing it. You know?
Well, and then so much
I'm
of it
making that
now,
up, by the
it's
way.
like so much of it now. You have to like drive negativity for anybody. You have to cry on the internet or share like some sad story for you to be taken serious as being real.
Right.
And so it's like, well, no, I'm actually real. I mean, yesterday I was washing clothes and folding clothes and grocery shopping and cooking dinner and managing a toddler. And both of us have long curly hair. I'm doing hair day. I'm thinking to myself the whole time, I was like, I do not know how people set up a tripod and do like I would be being fake if I was setting up a tripod recording all this.
Yeah. Right.
Actually, I'm being real because I'm actually doing.
I'm doing this stuff.
this.
Right.
Yes. And that's what feels real to me versus me like moving a truck, saying, "Rain, sit right here. Turn this way so I can get this." I cannot.
No.
So some parts of it, I'm just not willing to give myself to it. I'm like, I'm not selling my soul for this.
No.
I'm just not.
Well, we're too lazy. We
Yeah.
just have to be real.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself.
No, as far as just not trying to be anything we're not.
No.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, no, I'm not going to move a tripod all over to show what I'm doing, but I will do like just face to camera stories and dump about my day.
Yeah. I mean,
that's all I have time for.
Yeah. I mean, literally. But also, it becomes a bit evasive when you're doing that all the time.
Right. You can't do it all the time.
You have to live
can't
your
do
life.
any one thing all the time.
No.
You know?
Well, and you can't manage a business.
No.
So we're going to shift back to you guys' business because I want to go back to that because you had this friendship immediately, but you also immediately went straight into the logo design, straight into putting an LLC together.
I'd say within like 8 hours.
Within 8 hours. And so you operated as a business immediately. And so that's the thing that people don't get, especially for those of us as entrepreneurs and creators. They kind of want to take it a little bit more lax. And
Which I understand.
I understand it too, but if you want to run a business, you have to set yourself up as a business. I am not inviting you all over to record this podcast in my bathroom or in my closet. This is a business, so I'm shaping it up to look as such.
Right.
And so to the average person who's trying to get started as a creator or an entrepreneur, what would you say to them as far as setting up their businesses? Because some people would say, oh, don't worry about the logo. Don't worry about the LLC. Just get to it. Just start doing something.
Well, I see both. So I totally agree with you. You have to you have to put together a business, but I also worry about people trying to get everything so perfect that they never start.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you just have to start and then you can tweak things along the way because if you're waiting for perfect, there's never the perfect time.
No.
Nothing's ever perfectly set up
It's like
for you.
having a baby.
Yeah, there's never a great,
There's never a perfect
So you'll
moment.
never
You're never going to have enough money.
So in some ways, I think you just have to start and then you evolve.
Yeah.
But I agree. You have to have the right mindset though
Yeah.
to like take it seriously enough.
But I think what you just said is really important. It's like you have to just start. You have to start from somewhere. So for us, we were like, okay, what are the core tenets in order for us to just start? And for me, again, coming from a design background, branding is incredibly important to me. And like, how are we going to, and one of the things we talked about very early on when we were talking about like strengths and weaknesses, I was like, I do have a social background and I think this can be a social first company because there aren't any organizers using Instagram in that way. Like there are plenty of interior designers who do, but like not organizers. And if we can create like really beautiful imagery, like that is where we can shine. And so that night, coming up with like our logo and our name and like really going through a million different words to try and find a combination that we loved, like the home edit. You know, I mean, like starting is the most important thing. So we were like, if we're going to start tomorrow, what do we want in place to be able to, like, what do we want to call our company? What do we want the company to look like?
And then you need the official things. You need the bank account.
Yeah.
You need the LLC. You know, you need legal, like all these things. Like, what do you need to start a business?
Did you guys have a business coach or anybody walking
No,
you?
I've started businesses before. So
Yeah.
I like entrepreneurship, like that's where I was like, oh, this is
got
what you have to
this,
do.
yeah.
Yeah, you have to do these, go through these steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we like went on LegalZoom and got like a contract. That's like, I mean, that's just the way it was. And we just wanted to start.
And quite frankly, you guys started in a time where everybody was looking for angel investors, and that's like the hot topic. And so, did
We
you
had
guys
zero investment.
zero investment?
We each put in $5,000 and we've never put in a dollar more in our business. I mean, we've had to invest from
Reinvest, yeah.
Yeah.
reinvest our money, but we wrote a check each
Yeah.
for $5,000 and that was it.
Yeah. Well, that's beautiful. I love it because also I feel like people are shifting back to that style because
Scrappy.
Scrappy. Yeah. Because what happens is when they get these investors, the investors change the business model, the investors change the vision, the mission and everything, and they no longer have control.
And then when you sell the company,
Yeah.
if you plan on selling,
Yeah.
the investors make a lot
Yeah.
of money. And
Yeah,
so
they do.
we sold our company and it was the same as anything else. It was just 50-50.
Yeah. And so you guys were acquired by Hello Sunshine, which is Reese Witherspoon's company. So were you friends with Reese beforehand or?
Before we were acquired,
Yes.
yes.
We've been working with Hello Sunshine for years. Like
Yeah.
we said earlier on Master the Mess, they've been a production company with us
And
forever.
Reese has been an executive producer on all of our shows.
Yeah.
So, yes, we were friends before the acquisition, but she found us on Instagram. On Instagram stories, she thought we were really funny.
Yeah.
And she had Hello Sunshine reach out. This was probably it could have even been as early as 2017.
How long has she had Hello Sunshine?
I think it was like a year or two after we started the home edit. I think it was like 2017.
That's when I'm like, I think it was
like
around
2017.
We were
Yeah.
very early on in the Hello Sunshine family.
I feel like I'm just now seeing more Hello Sunshine stuff. And so I also think that that's something that people should note as far as business goes is it takes time for somebody to want to present something out to the world.
Yeah.
It's like she's working behind the scenes, executive producing these shows, doing all this cool stuff with you guys, also giving you a shot. How cool is that?
I mean,
Yeah.
It's
nothing will ever
compare to it in our life.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, that's so cool that somebody who's been doing this since she was a child.
I know.
Saw you guys on social media and decided that you were the ones.
We are so lucky. We've had so much support. I mean,
Yeah, Molly Sims has
Yeah.
also been an early
Incredible.
We were organizing Molly's pantry in LA, and we had taken everything out like we always do, and it was all over the kitchen. And we were like redoing her spices and it was a whole process. We make such a gigantic mess before we make it look perfect. And her husband, Scott Stuber, came home. Scott has always been in the TV, film, mostly film, really world, Universal, Netflix, and all sorts of stuff. And Molly has also been obviously in entertainment forever and in media. And she was just watching us do all this. And Scott came in and was watching us do all this. And they were like, is this a show? I think this is a show. And so Molly, and that was like almost at the exact same time as when Reese found us. So Reese and Molly have both been executive producers on everything.
and they've been in
also
our
very
corner
instrumental.
from the
Yeah.
beginning.
Yes.
The two of them have really helped us.
Was a great example of women helping women.
Yes, and those two are.
It's
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
What
crazy.
powerhouses. I mean, insane. And,
Yeah.
Hello Sunshine is all about sharing female stories. And that's
Oh, yeah.
Uplifting women. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to work with Hello Sunshine and LinkedIn for their small business market in December, and it was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the local owned artisans that are really, they have bustling businesses.
Sure.
They don't have side gigs. They're not waiting. Wait,
Right.
what was the question I had earlier that I was telling you guys about? Wait, no, when is your influencer business going to take off?
yeah.
right.
They're not waiting on that. They're making it happen.
Right,
yeah.
So I love that there are networks like Hello Sunshine that are giving women the opportunity to really flourish.
Yeah.
You guys also have a whole team of women who work behind the scenes. Has it always just been women?
No, it is not. We do not hire like with that in mind, that it has to always be women. Just, I think, just like our following, I mean, we have it's like 96%, 94% female. And that's kind of always been like our company makeup too. Like it just traditionally, again,
that's who's gravitated toward this.
That's who follows us. That's who applies. That's who gravitates. We've definitely had male employees over the years. And we still have one now. Yeah. And they're like always like the team mascot.
Yeah.
You know, we're like,
put up with a lot of women.
Right, exactly. They work with they put up with a lot.
Yeah.
You know?
What advice do you have for building out a team of people? Is it the same kind of relationship that you guys have been able to forge?
No, and that's okay. You know, I think that it's hiring people, I think, is the hardest part of owning a business. I think it's really, really challenging. We were supremely lucky in this life and in this business of the people that we hired early on.
Instrumental.
And, you know, it's hard to know. There's a lot of trial and error with that. And I would just say, like, if you don't get it right 100% of the time, like, give yourself some grace with that, because and also our business has evolved in the last 10 years.
That's the thing. It's like what you start with doesn't necessarily mean it's going to grow with everybody either.
It's kind of like friendships in a way, right? Like people cycle in and out.
Yeah.
And there are also people in our company who have had so many different positions in our company, like started as organizing and now, you know, it's like they just moving through and, you know, there's just.
Are you guys very hands-on with the organization of the company?
Not anymore.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, I mean, we sold the company, so obviously we're still
very involved.
You know, heads of the company, but like it's you know,
we don't run it.
Is that hard for you not having that control?
I think that it can present challenges just because, like, you don't start a business to then not be like the sole decision maker, right? Like that's the whole point of owning your own company and like being your own boss. So when you take a step back from that, it's hard to like get into the rhythm. Like it took a little bit of time to not be like, oh, well, what I would do, or, you know, like jump in and try and solve something. And it's like, no. Like that's not for you to solve. Like this is, so I think that it presents challenges, but I think that
it comes with so much opportunity,
right?
too.
So much opportunity. We have such amazing people that we work with.
You really
very lucky.
You really have a great team. I definitely enjoyed coffee with them, but I knew a couple of them before we even had coffee. So they are just jovial people, willing to go the extra mile.
So fantastic.
Always, yeah. And that's a vibe. Because after working in corporate for 12 years, that is not often the case.
Right.
Have you guys seen the show Severance on Apple?
Okay, so I'm only like 4 episodes in.
Me too.
To season 1.
Me too. Everybody said it was good,
Everyone
so I'm giving it a chance.
It's the best show in the world, so I'm giving it a chance too. But I just want to say, and Severance people will come for me, so I'm not. But like, it is a hard show, I think, to get into.
Yeah. It's a hard show, I think, to get into, but some of the themes around work culture are already resonating.
Wait, maybe I need to watch this one.
Yes.
Is it heavy?
I mean,
it's not heavy. It's just very, like, you have to think through it. It's not a light show.
It's not mindless.
Yeah, it's not mindless.
That's okay. I can think through it as long as it's not like super heavy or dark.
It's a think through. It's a little bit dark, but I don't even know what genre to put it in, because
there's almost like a sci-fi element about it.
But so much of it is like real life work culture that
it's not that it's sci-fi. It's that it feels like it's like a futuristic
it's diving
way
into a theme of corporate culture that nobody wants to talk about.
Basically the concept is like, if you sign up you basically sever yourself into, I'm at work and my brain only knows what's happening at work. And the second I walk out of these doors, my home life has no concept of what happened at work. Like both sides of you exist. And so that there's no interplay at all.
But when they show up to work, they feel trapped.
Yeah.
They severed. But when they show up to work, they don't know who they are outside of work. So, and that happens to a lot of people. They get in the rat race and they don't know who they are outside of work. And so sometimes when you're having to have difficult conversations around difficult business decisions at work with people, it can be something so simple as like, which logo should we go with in corporate America? And it becomes a difficult conversation because you're dealing with people who just don't have the connection to their real life outside of work.
Yeah.
So I think the heaviness comes from that, because I've worked with people where I've been like, you don't like your real life. Like, I mean, it's unfortunate. And I'm an empath and I understand you, but it's also, you need to get it together. You need to find your real life. You need to find yourself
when
again.
you're at work. Like, you can't even go home and talk about work because you don't
remember.
anything.
Yeah.
You said that it wipes out.
Yes. As soon as they have some sort of sensors
you
in the
sever
door.
your brain.
I see. Got it. Oh, interesting.
So I'm only on like episode 4 too, but somebody told me to watch it. But
everyone is obsessed with it. And I have to say, for almost every single show that I've been like, I don't get it, and everyone's like, no, trust me, it's excellent. At a certain point, not everyone is wrong. Like, I think I'm the one who's wrong, and I need to just like give in and watch it. The best example to me of that was Breaking Bad, which I think is
I still haven't done Breaking Bad.
Okay, it's one of the best shows to ever exist. It's in my top 5 of all shows. But I got to episode 5 or somewhere around there, but I believe it was episode 5 the first time, and I was like, that's it. I can't handle the show. It's too much. I was like pregnant at the time with Stella. It was just like, no. And years later, my husband and my brother literally like sat me down like a caged animal, and they were like, we're watching 2 episodes a week. You have to do this. They basically used I Feel Strongly with me. And they were so right. You have to get past the hump, and then it's incredible. It's insane.
But isn't that mirroring life too, though? Like, I see that post all the time that's like, if you're willing to give a Netflix show 5 episodes, like, you can give yourself the space, 4 seasons of a podcast, 5 years of a business, whatever it is, to make things come into fruition, because they're not going to come immediately.
No.
When did you guys start seeing the return on your investment of pouring into the home edit?
It was fast.
It was fast.
Yeah.
But we stayed the course. I mean, it wasn't like we let up. We weren't like, oh, wow, this is working. Okay, we can take our foot off the gas. We never took our foot off the gas.
We launched our business in August of 2015. And then I'm from LA. And so I was like, let's just go to LA for a week and make it like a marketing trip. And like, we'll offer our services to some celebrities that I know that I'm friends with. And we'll do it for free in exchange for a social media post. And that really, again, golden age of Instagram, that really set us up immediately. And, you know, when you start doing celebrity projects, that became a differentiator for us. And then other celebrities want to hire you. And that kind of, that's continued throughout our entire business.
Well, it's a media design that keeps on giving. And so you guys really have a comprehensive marketing plan that goes beyond social media. It's in-person stuff. Like, I came to the in-person podcast launch, and I think a lot of people discredit that. It's the actual touch and feel of being in person is also a huge thing.
Yes,
it's like,
for sure.
and then you also are still going and doing TV. So you really have a comprehensive plan that's really probably why everything has just been moving forward without a lot of hiccups.
Like, you just have to fire on all cylinders.
That's right, because you never know what's going to not work.
Yeah, no,
and
100%.
Like, we always say, our old logo used to have laurels around it.
Yeah.
And we always used to say, we can't rest on our laurels.
Yeah,
you know, you can't just be like, okay, well, we did it.
Yeah.
Right.
No, you got to keep.
No, you've never just done it.
No.
You
Foot on the
keep
gas
moving
all the time.
Okay, so we have launched an app.
Yes.
And so we're in tech now.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're in tech now. It's called the Organizing Society.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
It is basically a community experience. I would say the app is very experiential. The best part is called the Inner Circle, which is like basically the group chat for everyone. There are a lot of professional organizers on there, but also people who just love organizing and to share tips, ask questions, show photos, be like, what would you do differently? There's a lot of engagement with that. And then there are weekly drops of tips and tutorials, and we have lives on there that we do.
It's really fun.
It's
really
exclusive information.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's really fun
But
and
also
interactive.
a very creative way to stay in touch with your following that may not see your stuff on social media.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I think it's also just a really great resource. Like, we have so many resources on there, even about starting a business. You know, there's a lot on there. So we're really proud of it.
Yeah, it's been really fun.
Yeah.
It's something we haven't done before.
Was it something that you foresaw coming with the home edit?
I think
We've talked about stuff like this for a long time. We just hadn't like fully gotten there yet. And then finally all the stars aligned and we got here.
Yeah. So how long has this been in fruition?
I mean, honestly, I would say with with this strategy in mind. So like we had talked about a million different concepts for an app. I would say within the last less than a year, even in terms of like really honing in and focusing, writing all the content, filming, there's so much that goes into this because again, this is like it's a weighty app.
Yeah,
like
and it's living and breathing. It's not like a one and done.
Oh, yeah. Well, it needs to be in order to be a functional, successful app. I've worked on apps. I've worked on iHeart's app, Peloton's, and also Procore, so I get it.
Oh, so you know.
I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, absolutely. Even the designs the iterations have to keep rolling.
Yeah. And the content has to keep going. I mean, like, it's a lot of content. But it's great and it's fun and we get to, we're on there. Like we'll message back and forth with people in the inner circle.
It's really fun.
Like people will post like, what products would you use? Like advice for this, and like we'll reply. Yeah. It's just fun to engage.
Yeah. It also is a way for people to stay organized without having to go surf the internet and ask Chat GPT and watch a YouTube video and then head over to TikTok and figure out where the DIY stuff is over there.
Right. And everyone that's there is there for that reason.
Yeah. Yeah. So you help people find their community.
Yeah. That's really fun. Right. It is a full community.
It is. It's really, It's a society, actually.
It's its own little place.
Yeah.
So, big place. We're not going to describe anything that you guys are doing as little because it's just not. I mean, the fact that you're stepping into tech is a huge thing. I do want to ask about the business dealing behind it. So when you had this idea to come up with an app, do you then have to go to Hello Sunshine and say, this is what we want to do?
It was a full collective brain trust. We don't do anything apart from Hello Sunshine anymore. Or, obviously,
we're in lockstep with them at all times.
Everything that we do is like a combined interest. And again, we have just the best people that we work with. We're so lucky.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're always kind of in coordinated lockstep, like you said.
And ideas come and go and we all kind of come together and we're like, oh, this would be great.
Yeah.
So from the app users that you've had on there, because it's been out for a month now?
About a month.
Yeah, a little over.
Have you had any major success stories from the people using the app in the same way that you have from actually going and organizing people's houses? And
well, we just had a little pop-up in New York at Bluestone Lane Coffee. We had one in Nashville too that we saw you.
I didn't realize there was one in New York until I saw you guys at that one.
Multiple ones in New York.
LA, yeah. And so we had a little pop-up there and there were so many people who came in from like New Jersey and like all over the place. And they had even one woman on the train set up her LLC.
Oh,
I know. That is the best thing we could hope for.
Yeah, it really is, because your business keeps on giving to other businesses, and that is true influence.
It's really cool to see people who are like, it's exactly what we've always done with ourselves. We were interested in organizing. We realized we were good at it. And finally, you're like, I'm going to take the leap to turn it into a business. And people are doing that because of, I think, getting the confidence from being on the app and seeing what other people are doing and having a community support you in something like that is huge.
Yeah. But it's also really cool because there were some other organizers at the coffee meetup that you had in Nashville. And I love that you guys invited them because so many people, yes, but that's a different kind of energy. That's best friend energy right there. Because so many people are like, oh, you can't come around because I don't need you doing what I'm doing because there's not space for all of us to do what we're doing. So what makes you drive business in that way to continue like expanding and uplifting all these people?
I think we always, from an early point, when you put all of your work on social, that's the first step of like, look, we want to embrace everyone and let's learn from each other and you can learn from us. When you put out books, when you make TV shows about it, we're showing people how to do what we do.
There's not secrets anymore. Like we're showing you, we're telling you.
Early on in the business, very early on, it still felt like trade secrets. You know, like I do this, you do that, because we were still making a name for ourselves and we were trying to put like a literal trademark, a stamp on our aesthetic. And I still believe now, like I'll see photos that someone posts like much later, whatever, like an interior designer in Nashville or something. And I'm like, we did that. I know when it's the home edit versus someone else, but it took a lot of work to establish that. Once we established that, we're very happy to be like, let's show you how we did it, you know? And it's the more the merrier at this point. Early on, it was different. Like you're still like,
for sure. But you're trying to,
Yeah, because you're more protective of it.
And you're trying to figure out your own stance and your line in the sand and all of those things.
Yeah, and you're really trying to hone your own intellectual property that you're sending out into the social hemisphere.
Right. So, but once you get to the point where you're like, okay, we're putting out books, like there's nothing to hide.
Yeah.
Like we're literally telling you how to do it.
We have a show called Get Organized.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we're telling you how to do it.
Yeah.
So at that point, it's like
you have to just
you want to just be a part of a community that supports each other.
Yeah. Oh, I love that so much. I did not even get to ask you guys all these questions. I told you we probably wouldn't even look at the questions, but you guys are such valuable people. I mean, valuable friends, moms, wives, business partners, and just trailblazers all around.
Oh, that's so nice.
And we didn't even get to talk about you and your cancer journey, but you are just such motivation even from that. I mean, watching the show Home Makeover and you're sharing your experience with these people who have also gone through it, you are a godsend.
Oh,
yeah,
you're so
she really
godsend.
So sweet.
But my last question to both of you is, what is your heart mantra? Like, how do you thrive in business and as an individual, and just what does that look like for you guys? What's your mantra? What's your word of the year? Whatever you want to share.
Oh. I mean, I think for me, I am someone who has to keep in motion. I'm an in motion person. I'm a yes person. Again, that's yes to friendships, yes to business opportunities, yes to picking brains and taking meetings. So I would say yes is actually what I've always put in my heart and what I want to lead with, because the second I close up, I feel like I'm not me anymore. And, I just think, I try and never to be afraid of failure. Like, again, you keep in motion, you make mistakes, and you say yes to things regardless of where the outcome might lead.
I love that.
I think for me, maybe honesty. I just very much value people being transparent about everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, and being honest with yourself. Again, like, what boundaries do you have? Like, you can't do this, you can't do that. Just being truthful for who you are, but also who you surround yourself with.
Yeah. No, I love that. And that's why you guys work. I mean, it's a beautiful symphony of love and hard work. I mean, it is colorful. It's a colorful friendship, which is why I wore my colorful.
I know, it's such a cute.
You're always colorful.
Yeah, you're so cute.
Do each of the colors that you guys use for Home Edit, did they have zone meanings or anything?
I mean, the rainbow is a set of order. That we've always leaned into color. And it's an organized system. The rainbow is an organized system already. So
I was wondering, because I know so much about you guys, but I was like, I wonder if orange has a meaning for them.
No specific meaning. It's just a fun color.
It means Hermes.
Yeah. You know what? Right on time. And that's that. But thank you guys so much for sitting down.
Thank you so much for having us. This was so fun. I'm so happy to spend time with you.
I know. I'm excited to see what more you bring.
You too. And, killing it.
It's going to keep going.
When your career takes off, let us know.
One day when my career takes off.
Once you figure that all out, let us know.
When I get some friends in high places.
Exactly.
Let
us know.
I mean, you know what? I'm going to ask you that. What constitutes success? Because I think people think followers constitute success.
No, not anymore.
No, I'm like, who cares if you have 1 million followers if you don't know anybody in real life and you can't have a real life conversation?
Yeah.
I know Grammy award-winning artists, and my sister and I talk about this all the time because she's in the music industry. And it's like, we know people, I know so many people doing incredible things. I mean, even when you watch the Grammys, people don't get a Grammy until they've been in the industry for 30, 40 years. And then they're on stage and they're 75 and they're saying, I just got my first Grammy.
Right.
So to me, what constitutes success? Because I'm constantly, as an influencer, questioned about it because nobody thinks that what we do is a real job anyways.
Oh, it's a job.
It's a job.
I mean, I think there are a lot of markers for success. Yeah. I don't think that there is just one.
Every person has their own meaning of it.
I mean, there's financial success. There's personal gratification success. But I think that ultimately you feel it in your gut. Like, when things are working.
Yeah.
And I think it's a combination of factors. But I think when you're like, I feel excited, I feel growth. I feel like
this job completes me.
Right.
In the way.
I'm ready to keep moving. Like, I'm not feeling bogged down by this. I'm like
energized.
excited. Right. Energy.
Yeah.
I feel like that.
I think that's where we're going to get with the Severance TV show. We're going to learn what it looks like when everything is cohesive from home to work and beyond. So, and that's complete success to me.
Well, we'll have to come back on after we're done with season 2.
I know. We just need a watch party.
Yeah.
But you guys, thanks so much for watching.
Thanks for
go
having
follow
us.
the home edit. So go download the app and also subscribe and stay tapped into everything that they're doing, because they've had a podcast. They have products. They have literally shifted from one thing to the next with so much grace, and they've extended everything to us. They're telling us what to do. So you don't have an excuse to not be organized and not run your business efficiently. And I'm just so grateful that y'all stopped by
this is
today.
so fun.
Thank
Jasmine,
you.
thank you so
Next
much.
time we're getting a drink in New York.